It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
Welcome, and we're back. It's another episode of Ken's Corner after, wow, probably almost a month of
how many weeks?
At least it has to be at least 3 or maybe 4. Yeah, it's episode 71. I'm here with Ken, and we have a special guest as well. We have Brett. I think you know Brett from
Hello.
Catching Up. Say hi, Brett.
Hi, how you guys doing? Nice to be on.
Good to have you. And as usual, Ken is here to do some judo and jujitsu in the form of Hong Kong Fooey to make sure that the media is put in its place. Mainstream media, that is.
Perfect.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
There we go.
Ken,
Hey,
real quick.
Yeah.
I see you have a new shirt. Is that a?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
Cash Patel.
Cash Patel. Yes. Fight with cash. my client gave it to me. It's like a little small. It's a large, and I'm kind of like double X. You know, I don't know. What are you, Brett? Now, one thing I want to let you guys know. Brett and I have known each other for. You met me. You were a teenager still, right?
Yeah, gosh, it's got to be 30 years, 40 years. 40
Yeah, more. 40 years.
40 years. Because, it was when I was 17 and I'm 57 now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, Jay? And so, you know, we're both work out, but we both were a lot bigger back then. And we bodybuilded, you know, we both competed and stuff. And, let's see, about 10 years ago, we went up to, you told me, you said something, you tell the story. What happened? You got to tell that story, dude, real quick.
We kind of lost touch for a little bit, and then we got back in touch again, and we're talking just theology. And then we were going back and forth, and then I brought up Jacob and introduced you to Jacob's videos, and we started watching those. And then, you know, we were both watching them and talking about them and meeting once a month, usually at Yard House on our Saturdays when we got done with work. And then I remember I was I was visiting my parents in my backyard, and I got an alert that Jacob was going to be at DeVore. And I remember calling you going, "Hey, Jacob's going to be at DeVore." And your first thing was, "Man, I'm picking you up that Sunday morning." And we drove to DeVore, and that's when we first saw Jacob in person and met Marco and got hooked up with DeVore, and the rest is history.
Now, yeah, and then he was just commenting on that because we were both with Jacob on Catching Up this last Friday, and it was crazy. When I thought I never thought about it. And all of a sudden I'm like, holy cow! I cannot believe it. So, anyway,
that's just you would have told us that 10 years ago.
No, 10 years ago, yeah, we would have been like, yeah, right. Never would have believed you. No. So there's our short little story. I mean, we've known each other a long time. We used to work out together. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff together off and on. And you know, now you live in Costa Rica, you live in California, Jay, and I live in Arizona, and we're the tightest that we've ever been, right?
Yeah. Well, every time we talked, it was always about how are we going to get out of California.
Yes, and you really got out of California. I went next door. You went way south. Yeah. So anyway, that's not to get off on the tangent, but that's just the history of Brett and I. So
how the Lord has brought you full circle.
Isn't that crazy?
Now you're broadcasting on
Moriel
channel.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's nuts. It's totally nuts. It's totally God. I didn't even think about it because I don't think about, you know, popularity or anything. I really don't. I just I do the show because I enjoy I enjoy studying. I enjoy doing it. So yeah, I love it. So anyway, that's just the Brett story. And that's why I asked you to be on the show. I wanted you to definitely get, because we did the catching up with Jacob, and I'm like, oh, let's go with Ken's Corner. Let's do it. So it's awesome.
And it's just I was talking to my wife about it. It's like, how neat is that to be on a show with Ken? It's the coolest thing ever,
Yeah. So anyway, Jay, you go.
Where you? I can't go anywhere. I've lost my passport.
You have. That's right. And I'm not going to get a passport. I'll tell you guys, I'm not going to be traveling until the millennium, so I don't need a passport. So yeah.
Well, I unfortunately with the work that I do, I probably need a passport quick.
Yes, right now. Yeah, exactly. Especially going the traveling you've been doing with Jacob. Yeah.
Yes, and there's more on the horizon for me, unfortunately, and I don't have a real ID. That's the crazy thing. You can't get on a plane without a real ID.
Yeah, my wife just had to get one because she's going to be traveling to see her dad, and I'm going to stay home and watch the animals. And she had to get a real ID. You have to have a real ID now. It's like, nope, no real ID for me.
Yeah, that's the attitude I took. That's why I was using the passport. Yep. But this is what happens when your passport
where they nailed us, and it was just one of those things that we were just totally screwed. Is we were flying back from Costa Rica to see my parents. And when we landed at LAX and got off the plane, we're already off the plane. We're in the area waiting to go through customs. And to get into customs, we had to do a facial recognition.
Oh, wow.
And then there was no choice. Man. I mean, it would have been, okay, there was no seats. There's nothing. You were stuck. You couldn't say no. There's nowhere to go back to.
Yeah. To get on planes nowadays, especially in Israel, it's all facial recognition.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Israel is kind of crazy that way. When you go to the airport, the moment you get out of the car, there are cameras that are looking at you, and they are doing facial ID on you. And by the time you get up to the gate, they already know what time your flight is about to get off. So
they do. Yep, and that's how they've never been taken down with terrorist activity. Their El Al or any of their. Yeah.
Oh yes, the airports absolutely.
Yeah,
not to mention the 6 sky marshals that are on every single plane.
Oh yeah, absolutely 6. There's probably 12 easily.
Well, according to the company website, it's 6. And
double it.
Definitely
Yep. Yeah.
We need one for every tribe.
One for every tribe.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's good.
Well, we got a bunch of news that we're going to go through today.
Yeah, we do.
Brett's story is the student loan delinquent payment crisis. Brett, why don't you take it away?
So we're just looking at an article this week. So for the past 5 years, if you've been delinquent on your student loan payments, it hasn't been showing up on your credit rating. And that's changing. So that's going back. And as of right now, they have 9.2 million people that have fallen over 90 days behind on their payments. And what this does is, even missing one payment, all 3 major credit bureaus will affect your score. And it says just even missing one payment can affect your score up to 250 points. And now that stays on your credit score for at least 7 years. And that's if you don't miss another one. And what the government, from back when the Clintons were in office, it was the Stiegels Act that they overturned, that you can't use it if you declare bankruptcy. That still stays on your record. And then the government, with the student loan programs, they can actually withhold your Social Security benefits. They can withhold your tax refunds. And it says, they didn't say exactly, but they said certain professional licenses could even be suspended, and that they could also garnish your wages without a court order.
Wow.
And I've seen this overreach before because I I have a daughter and I had child support payments, and without any notification, they put a lien on my house and on my business and never notified me about it,
Wow.
which I just thought
Wow.
was crazy. It's like
That's
never,
crazy. Yeah.
and I want to make sure I never missed a payment the entire time.
Wow. That's brutal.
So it's it's already hard enough right now. You see so many people coming out of college not being able to make enough money, and now having their credit score so low, they're going to have a hard time being able to afford to buy a car, let alone try to get a house.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's just really, again, setting up the economy, as we know we're going into a recession, to just pushing that down even farther.
But
set it up to fail.
Just to make a point, though, they can't buy a car, they can't buy a home. It's hard for them to buy groceries, but they have a master's in ethnic studies. So we have to look at both sides of the coin here.
Well, lesbian ethnic studies. Yeah.
The funny thing is, Ken, about this, it's like I went to a state school. I mean, especially in the West Coast, the only school, I mean, tell me if you agree with this, the only school that I knew that was ever worth the money of paying it was USC. And that was only because it had nothing to do with the education. It had to do with they were going to hook you up. They take care of their own.
Yes,
so
exactly.
No matter how much you paid on any other school, it made no difference.
No, it didn't. And that's what I was saying. I had a conversation with someone and we were talking about the same thing. And 10, 15 years ago, if you went to USC, you had met somebody there that's dad was a corporate guy or whatever, and you were hooked up with just the students there. You were hooked up as a connection, and also if you said, I go to USC, it was so prevalent up high. It was put in a different category, and you'd be, you're hired. That was definitely.
And definitely. There was no other school on the West Coast that could do that.
No.
Then why pay? That's why I don't get why paying the money. It's like, do our route, junior college for a few years and then a state school.
And that's what I did, and that's what my brother did. He did junior college and state school. Yep.
To be fair, if you want to marry a beautiful Korean woman, you need to go to UCLA. Not
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you can still go to the state school and then just go spend the afternoons on campus.
This is true. This is true.
Yep. Oh man.
Moving on, Brett, you have another story about what's going on with Macron, our good friend. France and the U.S. have had this special relationship for 300 years now?
Our relationship is souring because apparently Macron and Trump don't get along. So, which we knew, but Macron is actually going around encouraging other European leaders to no longer purchase U.S. defense equipment, and also to boycott things even made in the U.S.
Wow.
The European Commission president stated that that they were going to get new defense loans to go out to European manufacturers, and they're proposing in U.S. dollars $163 billion loans for member states of the EU to start manufacturing their own defense equipment. But I mean, as we know, it's not as easy as flipping on a switch and start kicking that stuff out.
No.
The other European leaders, and especially from the EU, are just upset at the U.S. because we're backing away from the war in Ukraine, because we know what that's about, and then we're also backing out of not being as involved in the World Health Organization.
Yeah,
and then just to kind of throw in some comedy, which to me is comedy, but a French MEP, his name is Glocksman, of course the Socialists and Democrats group, said he demanded that the U.S. return the Statue of Liberty. His quote: "We are going to tell the Americans who have aligned themselves with tyrants who have misused and researchers advocating for for scientific freedom. Return the Statue of Liberty to us. We bestowed it upon you as a present, yet it seems that you hold it in contempt. Therefore, it would be better suited for her at home.
Oh my gosh!
You can't make that up.
You know,
no, you cannot make that up.
I believe that, you know, if the French would like, we would be happy to give back their trashy statue for $2.7 billion, which we gave to them after World War II under the Marshall Plan. But,
exactly.
You know, I think we should add a little bit of interest. What is it, like 70 years of interest now?
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
that 2.7 might be a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. 2.7 goes to, that's a lot of interest.
Yeah,
that's a lot of interest.
That's a lot of compounded interest. So France, we're open to talk. I'll get on the line with the president. We'll give you the Statue of Liberty back as long as you give us our money back from World War II.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then also, I mean, we didn't really talk about this too much, but you saw how in the German elections, the ADF actually ended up coming in second overall. But they screwed them out. They ended up aligning with the Greens and the SPD to push them out so they could beat, which is funny that the Greens are pro-war.
Yeah, the Greens. Yeah, now the Greens and the Liberals are pro-war, and the Conservatives are anti-war. It's just total switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy times.
So I just got the breakdown from ChatGPT. With compounded interest, the estimate would be of $2.7 billion invested in 1945 at 5% would be $158 billion in 2025.
My gosh.
With a 7% annual interest, it'd be $608 billion.
Oh my gosh, $500 billion.
And then
my gosh.
at 10% annual interest, stock market average, by the way, $5.56 trillion.
Trillion. Oh my gosh.
So how much is that statue worth?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wow.
It just goes to show you how Americans struggle, yet the rest of the world have been given this beautiful prize of, oh, you're our ally. Therefore, have some money.
Have some money. Yep. And the money comes from our taxes and our
I mean, USAID proved our money goes to fund nonsense around the world.
Yeah, nonsense. Yeah. And didn't I go over that the last time? Didn't I go over that? I went over what we were funding. Yeah, I did. What did you say, Brett?
Oh, I was just saying, I still can't understand. I don't understand how this is a Democrat or Republican issue. If you see what USAID is spending on, how are the Democrats supporting that? Like, you think everybody against that?
Because the money filters back to them.
Yes, it does.
Well, only to the top, though. I mean, you got the regular working class that are going nuts over it.
Well, they can't think straight. They're Romans 1 is what their mindsets are. It's a Romans 1 world. You just wonder, and it's like, okay, Romans 1. Yeah, I just read Romans 1 all the time. It's like, all right.
No.
And then you also have the Biden administration that I don't have the actual numbers, but we're hiring a ton of public officials to offset the unemployment numbers to make it not look.
I didn't see that. Wow.
And so then that's a double one. So then not only they're not adding anything to the GDP, they're becoming a burden because then our taxes have to pay their salaries and they're not giving anything back.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. It's like, and it's like Doge is uncovering a lot of this stuff, but there's so much that it hasn't uncovered. It's beyond crazy. It'll
get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it will. I'm just hoping for my tax return, man. I think they're up to 10 grand now. Are they up to 10 grand, 7 grand, 8 grand, 9 grand?
Anything would be nice. This year's taxes are terrible. for me.
Yeah, mine too. This year was bad. So
Yeah, this is
yeah,
gonna be a
anything
bad
would
one
be.
for me too. I haven't even got to get an extension.
Oh wow, yeah, we just turned ours in, and I'm just like, wow, yeah. So,
Mm.
but
Speaking
anyway,
of worse
yeah.
than Emmanuel Macron, though, we have Christine Lagarde.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Go for it,
Yeah.
Brett.
So Christine Lagarde is openly just now saying that they want to get away from cash and to push everything into CBDCs.
Digital,
And
yeah,
it's just they, other than they hate us, they want to tax us on every single thing because they think that somehow they can tax themselves out of what they've got themselves into, especially with the
never.
EU and negative interest rates in 2014. It was basically they committed suicide almost economically by doing that, and now
Never.
it's catching up with
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. They
So
will always be behind.
let me try to make sense of that.
You
Oh,
can't.
and it's complete
Fiat currency,
control too.
fiat currency, they manipulated it so much that the paper
Uh,
money is worth very little. And so
yeah.
now they want to start fresh and go to CBDC and manipulate it so they can continue their game. So it will be valueless as well.
Exactly. It'll eventually be valueless. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just wanted to make sure.
Just
So
wanted to make sure. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just
That's
wanted to make
it.
sure that that's the plan. Cool.
Well, and
They're
I
gonna
think
just
that's
keep kicking the
also,
can.
I mean, I think you've seen it too, Ken, is you see all the money flow is flowing out of Europe because they know
Yeah.
that, capital could, once that war kicks off, they're going to have capital
Yep.
controls coming in and they're not going to be able to move
And
it.
and that's what you follow. You follow where the money goes. That's the Martin Armstrong thing that you and I always talk about. Is you
Yeah.
follow the capital flow of money. That's where you follow. And then you could see like when war was coming, or the elites would move their money and they'd move their and that's exactly what you follow. Yep, exactly.
I wonder where all the money's going.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's coming here now. It's
Yeah,
coming to the
most of
safe
it.
safe haven. Yeah, most of it.
I don't know. Could it maybe be going to somewhere like this?
Yep.
I'm just wondering because, a lot of the money seems to be, from their import of, let's call them hardworking immigrants.
Mhm.
I wonder if a lot of that money is being sent from the EU economy back to relatives in, I don't know, Turkey,
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Mecca.
That's what you got. Yeah. That's where our focus is for prophecy. All that
Yeah.
area. Yep.
But we
Yeah.
saw
It's
Turkey
just.
behind, the takeover of Syria.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. 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 And then who remember Chuck Missler? I didn't agree with his
Yeah.
pre-trib or any of that, but I listened to him all the time. I love listening to him because he had a lot of good study, and he was on the AI thing before anybody was 20 years ago, talking about it and stuff, talking about technical stuff. But he always said, "Watch Turkey, watch Turkey."
Yeah.
That was his quote, and I always remember that. Yep. Awesome.
And that just gets back into, again, talking about cycles. And,
Yeah.
Erdogan's biggest thing is to restore the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah. Yep.
And now
Yep.
with Russia having to pull back out of Syria, I don't know what kind of deal they made, but they got their hands full in Ukraine. So I think they were just willing to let it go for whatever Turkey gave them to not fight back on it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see next couple of years. Very interesting.
Next we have the Barnard survey. I believe Ken,
Oh
this
my
is your
gosh.
story.
Yeah. So Barna, he's the well, he's the researcher. He kind of does the what's it called again? Help me out. Help me out. The surveys. America needs spiritual renewal, as fewer than half of Americans believe God exists. I had no clue. So 60% of Americans do not believe God exists. I didn't. You guys both were like, "What?" When I said that. But George Barna said of this finding, he said, "The more, this is a quote, the more time you spend thinking about what this research tells us, the more you are likely to conclude that nothing short of sweeping national repentance and spiritual renewal can save America from itself." And he also said that the report is evidence that God has been reconfigured into our own image. And 1/3 of Americans believe that God exists and affects lives, and the data is reported on a base response from collected 2,000 and 2,100 U.S. adults in January. And one thing Barna was, he was surprised that fewer than 1 out of 5 people who acknowledge God's existence and influence are aware of any life boundaries that God provides for them. So it was kind of a, even though so that was just weird that
That's
they
almost
don't
even
believe
more
it.
startling.
Yeah. They don't believe
I
in
believe, but I don't.
Yeah, exactly. I believe, but I don't believe that he can be involved or whatever. So that was just kind of odd too, And I'm seeing that with the Lutherans or the Catholics, or they any of those, you count their belief as kind of Christianish, but they're my one client is so anti-Israel. I can't believe it. He's anti-Jewish, anti-Israel beyond, and I think that's the whole the Lutheran Church and their the end time stuff. It's like Jews have nothing to do with the end times, and it's like they have everything to do with the end times, man.
Because they
They're like the
haven't read
main
the
part.
Bible.
Oh my
But
gosh! Well, they yeah.
every major denomination is replacement theology.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep, every denomination is replacement theology. Yep,
And most of the people that go to those churches don't even know what that is. So
no,
they just
no,
take
they don't.
what they get, and that's what gets pushed.
Yep.
Very simple. Let no one deceive you in any way, for
No.
it will not come unless the apostasy comes first.
Yeah, and this is it. We are seeing the apostasy. That's 2 Thessalonians 2, and we are seeing the apostasy upon it. It's great, man. It's I mean great as in big, grand. It's huge.
Yeah.
Interesting facts about those 60% of people who don't believe God exists. Surveys have also found that same 60% believe that a man can become a woman surgically.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and that's even more bizarro. Wow.
And that same 60% also believe that drag queens should also be reading children's stories to kindergartners.
Exactly. Yep. And they're the ones that we're going to go over. Yeah. Go ahead, Brett.
I mean, this is just, when it talks about biblically, in the end times, right is wrong and what is wrong is right.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I know we're all talking about revival, and this is just my opinion, but I think you're with me on this, is America had its chance and we've kicked God out. I don't see, there may be a pocket here or there, but I don't see a national revival coming to us. It's going to be in the Muslim countries. It's going to be in the countries that haven't had the gospel where you're going to see it.
Yes. Like how big the church is in Iran, the underground churches in China. And I'm going to share this. I don't know if I've shared this before. I don't think I've ever shared this on this channel. But my mom had a dream before she passed away. And the dream was this big darkness coming down on the U.S., the huge darkness coming down. And it was slowly and all of a sudden you see these little pins of light. Little pins, and they're spread all around, but it wasn't like a main pillar of light. It wasn't like light was what, but it was just darkness coming down and just covering the U.S. And these little pins of light were going through it. And then that's the I do believe that was one of her dreams that she shared before she passed away, and it was it was powerful.
I can see that now.
Kansas is about to do a black mass at their state capitol.
Yeah. I saw that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they are. It's crazy.
What's even crazier, Ken, is some autopsy officials are finding some interesting information.
I'm going to have to be careful how I'm going to say some things, but I'll try. But a major autopsy study found that scars in the hearts were related to the jab.
Oh, wait. No. We're not sure what caused these scars. But they started to appear around 2019.
But we never saw them before 2020.
Yes, we never saw exactly. That's what you got to say. We never saw before. So two of Japan's leading medical researchers, these guys, this is big league, have issued a warning after their major autopsy study found that people who died from sudden cardiac arrest. Remember, I talked about the sudden death thing. That book that died suddenly, and so this is happening worldwide. Had multiple scars in their hearts maybe caused by the jab, but they put caused by the jab in there. But maybe we'll have to say maybe.
I mean,
but
we
the
don't
two doctors,
know. It could have been cholesterol.
Yeah, it could have been.
There's this new flavor enhancer that causes scars, supposedly.
Yeah, that one aspartame or whatever.
Yeah.
But the two doctors, they sought to identify the cause of the spikes in the unexplained cardiac arrest. The researchers discovered that the people who died suddenly after receiving an mRNA injection had multiple microscars in and around their hearts. So that's the evidence that they had. That's what they followed. This phenomenon was found in the myocardium of VATS patients who died of unexplained cardiac arrest. So it's just. And notably, all patients with the scarring had a history of multiple jabs. So, and that's just they're relating the two. Yet we have to say that I don't know if it's relatable, but
and just to be clear, by jabs we mean like tabs at bars. These people were obviously drinking too much, and that was scarring their hearts.
Yes, they could be. They were drinking too much sake.
Yes,
too much sake.
There we go.
Yes,
too much sake.
Sushi and sake. Yeah.
Very common in Japan.
Absolutely. Oh man, I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I was going to go off on the other aspect, but I think I'm going to let that slide on YouTube. Yeah.
All right. We have a video for the next story. Here we go.
I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end this administration.
Interesting. So a little bit of do you think Trump might have a crush on the governor of Maine?
Yeah. This is from a month ago. So and it's still in the news. It's still, Trump administration, warned the Maine after it just keeps doubling down on the male and female sports. It was at a White House governor's conference, but the Trump administration warned Maine that it will face consequences if it continues to disobey Trump's executive order barring males from playing in female sports teams. President Trump's executive order on keeping men out of women's sports, that's a quote, was created to protect female students, athletes from competing against or with males in sports. Protecting women, quote, in a matter of safety, fairness, dignity, and truth. These people are so, they're demonically twisted. I'll see you in court, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe that they hold on to this craziness, this world. And I'm telling you,
I mean, Ken, we've had the opportunity to work and see some very elite athletes, both male and female.
yes,
And even the elite female athletes that they train their whole life cannot compete against a trained male. I mean,
no,
it's not even close.
no. Did you remember what's her name, Venus Williams, or what's her sister's name?
No, it was Venus or Serena. Serena.
Or Serena. Yeah, one of those, Venus or Serena. They were on Johnny Carson. It was a long time ago. So I think Jay Leno was still hosting, and she was saying, "There's no way that I could." I would be 100th if I was in the men's tennis league.
What she said.
100th.
She said that the match would be over in probably 15 minutes. I would lose 6-0, maybe 6-1.
6-0. Oh yeah, 6-0, 6-1, maybe. Yeah, maybe 6-1. Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's the way God designed everything.
Well,
it's so ridiculous.
A crazy thing to add to this, and I know this is outside of college sports, but I don't think I brought this up to you. I just got done getting a girl ready to do a figure competition, and you know how they do the spray tans now the day of the show backstage. They're naked in a tent, and she's standing next to a dude. Granted, he'd had the surgery, but she's competing and getting sprayed naked next to a guy that's competing as a woman. And they're letting that happen in PC. And it's just like,
wow. They're just infiltrating everything. It's mostly here, I think. It's mostly in America, I think.
I have a hard time seeing that fly anywhere other than here, or maybe some countries in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when Islam is going to start to actually come against this.
Yes. Because they don't advocate this at all.
And
they'll be loud about it.
The left has such a love affair with the world of Islam, and yet we all know what would happen if they tried to put any of their liberal ideas in an Islamic country.
Yeah, exactly. They would, it would be bye-bye.
Yeah.
The fact that where the women's role is too, and they're so powerful here.
Yep.
In Western countries, Yeah.
Speaking along the same way, our next story, school administrators in Illinois want middle school kids to have co-ed shower program.
Yeah, it was nuts. So this is kind of a related story. A mother says middle school tried to force her daughter and the teen girls with her to change with a male student in the locker room. It's a middle school in Illinois, and administrators pressured the girls to share the locker room with a male student despite the girls' objections. The mother was told that the student in question was permitted to use the girls' bathroom and locker room because he identified as a female. Then administrators tried to force teenage girls to change their clothes in front of the boy. That's crazy. Nicole Georges said her daughter was frightened and extremely upset. She spoke out at a school meeting. They had a school meeting. And Georges filed a federal civil rights complaint on her daughter's behalf. In her testimony, she said a few days after the first encounter, the male student was present in the girls' locker room again. The girls made the choice not to change into their PE clothes. She also said the school assistant principal reprimanded the girls for refusing to use the locker room. That's crazy. And the administrator reportedly escorted them to the locker room and attempted to force them to change in front of the male students. How many young girls have been forced at a difficult age to do something that they don't want to do, that they know is wrong. And several trans activists and LGBTQ advocates also spoke at the social meeting or the school meeting. And one of the trans activists accused people who follow a white god. That's crazy. And he said, or it said, that the girls were petty women. But he, whatever, also said sex education is super important, and I agree with that. Riley Gaines. I don't know if now I'm going back 2 years, 3 years when she was really popular, when she was fighting, and she's got popular, X channel and stuff. But the former college, she's a collegiate swimmer, and for the last couple of years has opened up about her. And others' discomfort they experienced in the locker room with trans identifying Leah Thomas. So he was allowed to, participate in the women's swimming championships in 2022. He would change in front of all the women and still have full male genitalia. That's nuts to think about. And the school threatened the girls to keep them from complaining about a man on their team. The girls would all change in the bathroom stalls. And this one girl, Paula Scanlon, Thomas' former teammate, said, you'd be changing and you'd hear all these people talking in the background, and suddenly you hear a man's voice, and I always jump a little. This is sexual assault, guys. This is sexual assault. In a normal world, administrators would have charged as sex offenders. To force these girls back into I can't believe that.
So forcibly try to make a girl change? I mean, whether there's a guy or not, that is crossing a line.
Right. Maybe they're uncomfortable in front of girls. I don't know. It's like, man, I don't understand.
Don't you know that there's no such thing as body autonomy? It's like the system owns your body.
Yeah, the system does own your body.
No, there's no my body, my choice in the woke liberal left.
No, but that's their saying. That's their saying when they.
They're hypocrites.
That's their saying. My body, my choice.
They're hypocrites.
Yeah.
This is in Governor Pritzker's backyard. It might be that he's just pushing his brother James Nicholas Pritzker's agenda. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just dead named him. I mean,
yes, you did.
Janet Nicole Pritzker.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you dead named him.
My bad. Please
That's still new to me.
Please don't cancel me. Please don't.
No.
All right. The next. This hits home because someday I dream that I will be driving a Tesla. It'll be wonderful. I will love not paying for gas anymore. But organizers
are so fast. They're so fast, dude.
I've tried to rent one like 6 times just because I wanted to see how fast it accelerated.
They're always taken, huh? They're always taken. All taken. They're the first ones to go. Yep.
But organizers
that is crazy, though.
Are planning a massive Tesla takedown.
On March, you got the still. I think this is from from Twitter.
I didn't download the still, but it's
okay. Never mind. It's an advertisement for. It's a large takedown of Tesla on March 29th. 500 different protests at Tesla showrooms and supercharger stations worldwide. So they want, I thought these leftists wanted electric vehicles. I don't know. Right? I'm so confused. So all these Tesla.
Apparently, Musk is worse than carbon.
Dude, I don't know. It's like all of a sudden they were excited. Now they're not. Yeah, totally. So all these Tesla attacks are direct response to Elon Musk's role as the head of Dodge, DOGE. And it was reported that activists seen target Tesla showrooms as a way to hit Musk where it hurts the most. And if you heard Special Needs Representative Jasmine Crockett, have you heard her? Like she talks about this, and we are
special
fighting.
Needs.
Yeah, Yeah, special needs. So that's what I yeah. So so we are here's a quote. We are fighting for democracy. We are fighting for freedom. I mean, it's like you can hear Trump promises domestic terrorism charges for violence against Tesla. So we'll see. And Pam Bondi, didn't you what were
Yeah.
you sharing about Pam Bondi? Let me know.
Well, Dan Bongino first came out and said, our teams are actively working on Tesla incidents and swatting incidents, along with other responsibilities to keep the homeland safe. And then
Wow.
Attorney General Pam Bondi said there will be severe consequences for those found guilty of violating Tesla vehicles. The government is not protecting Elon here, and they're desperate to protect the public from the radical left who faced no consequences last time they attempted to burn cities to the ground.
Yeah, and this is what you have to do. You have to just make an example of two or three of them and say, okay, 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, and like they'll think twice about, because Teslas have 8 cameras on them. You can see the person that lights it on fire or the person that scratches it. And there's one video of this guy, filming a guy doing it. So he got out and he scratched it and he goes, you're not only on camera with my phone that I'm recording you, but you're on 8 different cameras basically that Tesla has on it. And he was like, what? Yeah. So they don't even.
To add to that, Arizona Democrat Senator Mark Kelly made a spectacle of abandoning his Tesla. Quote, every time I get in this car in the last 60 days or so, it reminds me of just how much damage Elon Musk and Donald Trump is doing to our country. I'm kind of curious by finding us wasting money is damaging our country.
Yeah, that's damaging. We're saving billions of dollars that we've given to all these. I mean, what were the things that like the transgender studies in Iran or in Iraq and all these crazy things
to Palestine or to Gaza?
Yeah. Oh man,
you gentlemen, I think I might know who's really behind these protests.
Who?
Start with an S.
It does start with an S.
Why is the Subaru the lesbian car?
That's right.
Oh,
Subaru is behind.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
By the way, did you guys ever hear the theme song for the famous Congressman Crockett?
No.
Oh, it's born in the city of St. Louis, attended Catholic high school till time for degree, pro bono work as an attorney, came to Congress in 2023. Jasmine Crockett, queen of the Karen Committee.
Authors from Project 2025, which is
Oh man, but that's not the congressman. That's Congresswoman. That's why, Congresswoman.
Tomato. This is
tomato.
This is a new world. There are no genders.
It's a new world. Yeah, there are no genders. Yeah, none. 0.
Okay, well, this is a kind of frightening in a way. Healthcare across all states. It's going to change soon. Why is it changing, Ken?
So health systems across the U.S. will begin using robots to draw blood. both of you guys were like, what? When I read that in the pre-show. In a world where automation is reshaping industries, healthcare is no exception. A new robotic device designed to draw blood is making waves. This innovation promised to streamline a routine yet critical medical procedure. This is a process that has long relied on human skill. This robot method boasts of a 95% success rate, which is better. Well, I went back to the same girl over and over and over again, so she always did well. But if you go different people, man, you could get a bad one. Anyway, the robot was advanced. Sorry, the robot uses advanced imaging to locate veins and perform the draw. Now, surgical robots like the Da Vinci system, and I've heard of this, it's been used for years, but it's a notable step to do everyday procedures with a robot. So the goal, they say, is to enhance, not replace, human expertise and involvement. And responses on X have been mixed, but here's one quote that I agreed with: is a 95% success rate. That's better than I've had with a person. And I had one lady that always recognized me. She was at Hoag Hospital, which is a very popular hospital in Newport Beach, California. And I'd always go in there, and I'd always get her, and she was good. She was a Filipino lady, and she was, oh, what's up? She'd always recognize me. And she was like, just no pain, no, I couldn't even feel it when she went in. She was, oh, you're all done. Okay, see you later. She was so sweet, so sweet.
I don't know if you guys heard this, but Danny Werfel, the head of the IRS, has expressed interest in this technology and was wondering if it could be used to get blood from a stone.
What?
If anyone can find a way to do it.
Yeah, that's it. They'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny.
Moving on to our next story, Justice Roberts. He's a celebrated member of the the Supreme Court. He's been meeting with some nefarious people, but Ken, before you talk about it, what I've heard, I've done some discussing and uncovered that he's really meeting with them to discuss the Easter colors for the picnic for the Supreme Court.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, that's another level, and he's meeting with that guy that James Bosberg, that one judge, and they're forming he's been ahead. Roberts has been the Chief Justice since 2005. I didn't know it was that long. And Ketanji Brown is on that, and these leftist black robe tyrants have used their unhinged hatred towards Trump to override many of his perfectly legal executed orders. That's all I'm going to say is that these are legal orders, and they're going after everything. Man, we're living in some strange times. But example, overturning the military transgender ban, deporting illegal aliens, especially criminals. As well as rulings against Dodge. So they're attacking back. And I forget what the number is of I think the most was Obama, and it was his whole I'm trying to think. It was his whole 8 years. He had like 27 judge attacks back, kind of fighting whatever he put forward. I think Trump's at 42 or something like that, or 40 or something like that already. And he's only been in office like, what, 2 months?
Yeah.
And these people are just put. Yeah, the judges. These and that Boxberg guy is the one who said he should be president, right? Isn't that the guy that said he should be president?
Yeah, because we all elected him, obviously.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. He doesn't understand, and it's just the loony. It's Romans 1 mindset. Romans 1 mind.
The good thing on this is I think it's exposing to more people to how corrupt the justice system is.
Yes, I think so too. Yep.
Well, you only need to go to a couple times where you're in the justice system. To find out how corrupt it is.
I've found that out before.
Oh man. Oh.
Our final story. Ken has 20 facts that will raise your blood pressure. You ready? Oh no. Wait, yes. This is good.
Yes. Yeah, I have 20 facts, and I'm gonna just read them, okay, guys? So just hang in there with me.
Stop after the first one.
Okay. In 1960, households with married parents accounted for 44.2% of all households in the United States. Today, that figure dropped to just 17.9%. That's Crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So, and number two, at this stage, an all-time record of 58.4% of all U.S. households are made up of either single or married adults with no children. I didn't know that either. Number three, the reading skills of U.S. kids have gotten even worse. According to Wall Street Journal, 67% of eighth graders who scored a basic or better reading level in 2024 was the lowest share since testing began in 1992. Wow. Number four, a high school kid in California that had a 4.4 grade point average and that scored 50/90 on the SAT was rejected by 16 prominent colleges because he is Asian. That's crazy. Number six, if you can believe it, China actually has a larger navy than the United States does. Number seven, the United States government currently owes China $859 billion. Much of that money was wasted by our politicians on some of the most ridiculous things imaginable. So, yeah, unbelievable. Number eight, back in 1913, the federal tax code was a whopping 400 pages long. You know where this is going. If you lived back then, you would have enough time to read the entire thing, perhaps. Well, today, if you go the federal tax code, it is more than 75,000 pages. Do you think anyone has time to read all that? Number nine, this year, it is estimated that U.S. taxpayers will spend around 7.9 billion hours preparing their taxes. Number 10, 16 million homes in the United States are sitting empty right now. Meanwhile, homelessness in the U.S. has risen to the highest level ever recorded. Number 11, 1/3 of Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings. I knew that. Number 12, approximately 25% of U.S. households now have zero net worth or negative net worth. Back in 2007, that number was 18%. So that's a significant rise. Number 13, one survey found that 18% of all insured adults in the U.S. have had a health insurance claim denied within the past year. Interesting. Number 14, since Obamacare became law, the annual profits of the 5 largest healthcare insurance companies in the United States have gone up 230%. Number 15, the state of New York has 670,000 residents that are illegal, that are in the country illegally. Number 16, a study was found by Charlotte Lozier Institute found that women have had abortions are twice as likely to commit suicide. That's interesting. Number 17, one recent study discovered that the number of microplastic particles in the brain on the average person that died in 2024 was about 50% higher than those who died in 2016. Wow. So number 18, between the year 2000 and 2020, the butterfly population in the United States has dropped by 22%. I know that because I listened to Dean Wigginton, and he's been talking about that for a while. The global, the geoengineering. So number 19, the bottom half of the global population owns approximately 2% of all the global wealth. Wow. Number 20, last one. It has been estimated that 828 million people throughout the world go to bed hungry each night. That's keep them in prayer. That's a lot of people. That's almost 1 billion people. Wow.
When you know we have enough food to feed everybody.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, we do. And it just when even if we fly the food over, it gets stolen by the dictators that run that country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've seen that. Oh man. Well, do you want to leave on that note? Do you want to leave on a good note? Do you want to show the TV in Sweden? Did I send you that?
We should definitely watch the TV in Sweden. Hold on, let me bring up that
we need to finish on a laugh. Come on.
Here we go.
So here's the history of Sweden. Here's Swedish history. Wait. So that's the one from before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's soon to be the history.
That's current events in Sweden. That's
Sweden eventually. Yeah, that's the current events in Sweden.
Sorry.
This is what they said Sweden looked like.
Blue eyes. Wow.
These are the first Swedes. The first Swedes. Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Yep. It's a big budget series called The History of Sweden. That's it.
That's was that put out by their government?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, state TV in Sweden, state TV. Yeah.
Wow, they're really pushing it.
They are pushing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
That's ridiculous. That's very ridiculous.
Yeah, it just goes back to what you said, Romans 1.
Yep. Romans 1.
Well, I actually have one last thing I'd like to share. The verse of the week.
Go.
Romans 5, 6 through 7. And I'm just going to read it real quick. For while we were still weak, at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person, one would dare even to die. And that's just a reminder to all of us that Christ died not only for the elect, like a lot of people like to believe, but for the ungodly. So if Christ has a heart for the ungodly and we follow Christ, we need to have a heart for them as well. So I end with that and encourage you, show some kindness to people who don't deserve it. Because in the end, nobody deserves it.
Nope.
Ken, Brett, it's been an awesome time here. Brett, hopefully we can have you back.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, love it.
It's good seeing you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you too, man.
God bless you guys.
All right. God bless you guys too.